let me just tell you a little something. Every city I went to this week, when I went to Dubrovnik in Croatia, when I went to Luxembourg, Basel, Brussels, and Amsterdam, in every single city, every single country, every single province, all I would hear are stories about how they had to defend their freedom. Every single place. Every place there will be a history of they fought this war to stop these invaders. They built this wall to go and stop these other people from there. See, this is what you need to understand is that bullying and pimping are universal. The bullying is something that's happened internationally for thousands of years. If you don't have a plan for you and your family, if you don't play defense, then somebody else is going to play offense. Do you get what I'm saying? If you can't protect what you got, some asshole's gonna come along and try to take it. And this false idea where we're raised to be victims and we're raised to sit there defenseless and without a plan, without a strategy, without a sacrifice, and just hope that our oppressors decide to be nicer to us, that is by design. That is by design. Elon Musk is an interesting guy, right? I don't love him or hate him. I think he's smart, but he's also a racist. And the reason Elon is a racist is because he grew up in apartheid. That's why he says those stupid things on his Twitter. Again, I don't hate him because I don't take it personally because I don't care what white people think about me. That's not how I evaluate my self-worth. One thing that they used to do during apartheid was, did you know, how many of y'all knew this? And I'm not an expert on apartheid. So those of you who know more about it than I do, forgive me if I say something wrong. But I remember reading how during apartheid that if you had a son of military age, and I guess that's like between 18 and 40 or something, 35 or whatever. If you had a son of military age, they needed to know where your son was at all times. If they came to your house or somebody in the village told them that your son disappeared and just left town for a while, you could go to jail for that. They will come get you. They might kill somebody in your family or lock up your mama because your son is not, nobody knows where your son is at. Do you know why they did that? Does anybody know why? Can you guess why? Because because they did not want young, angry black men to go get military training that would allow them to fight back. Did y'all know that? They wanted passive men. They wanted feminine men. They wanted weak men. They wanted the wusses. Because you can control a wuss. You can control a weak little pathetic man who don't fight back or man who doesn't have the skill to fight back. But you can't really, it's hard to oppress a warrior. Because warriors are different. Warriors have strategy. Warriors have tactics. Warriors ain't scared to die. They're ready to die. They're ready to go down for what they believe in. So it's hard to oppress a warrior. It's easy to oppress a punk. So do you think that it's a coincidence that we suddenly have this rise in the feminization of black men all throughout this society? Has anybody been to Atlanta and see how many, and no disrespect, this is not anti nobody. I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings, but you go to Atlanta, you can't help but notice how many brothers want to walk around in mini skirts with high heels and wigs on. You think this is an accident? You think this kind of was part of the plan? What do y'all think? So here's the deal. It's one thing if the bully can beat you up. Sure, but beating you up is hard to do if you fight back. It's easier for the bully to soften you up so that you are scared to fight in the first place. And the reality is that a lot of our people are scared to fight. And then if they're not scared to fight, they don't know how to fight. Because you never had conversations like this. You never sat down with your father or your mother and had them explain to you that preparation is the key to success. They never told you that the way to prevent a problem is to prevent a problem. They never told you that the way to overcome the attack is to get ready for the attack. They never taught you that in Sun Tzu's book, The Art of War, that battles are won before they even begin. They never taught you that. You just get spilled and flooded with a culture from the BETs of the world, who are white-owned companies that pretend to be in blackface. They spill a culture of instant gratification, very sloppy living, very irresponsible choices, so that you simply are just sloshing through life, being a victim of problems that sometimes you created yourself. Like, so when you're that guy that's 36 years old and you can't figure out how to pay your child support because you got seven babies, mamas, well, you made those babies, and nobody ever talked to you about sexual discipline and the importance of that as a form of economic preservation. Nobody talked to you about that. Or you sitting in a bad situation because you chose not to get an education, because you out thugging and following the crowd and getting into street life and all this other stuff because that was marketed to you. They packaged that up and marketed that to you. And then now you 30 something years old trying to play catch up because you spent your 20s in the streets. That was all by design. They marketed that to you. So what I'm here to say on this is that when you're talking about the accumulation of Black wealth, that is something that requires discipline and planning. When you talk about the preservation of that wealth, that also requires discipline and planning. Uh, it requires a mindset where you understand that your economics is a form of self-defense. See, money is used to enslave people all throughout the world. Economic warfare is very, very real, not just in the United States, but it happens all over the globe. And so my question that I would ask you is, have I at least convinced you to consider that your choices in terms of how economically intelligent and economically prepared you and your children are is a really important part of your self-defense strategy? Have I convinced you that this is connected, that a lot of the victimization occurs because we're not thinking in terms of preparation and strategy? Do you understand? And actually, I'm going to talk to you about my conversation I had yesterday with Dr. George C. Frazier in a second. But before I do that, I want to mention to you all really quickly that there is something that we're doing now that I've offered you called the Freedom Challenge, where literally, you guys know in Money in the Morning, I've probably done about 200 lectures so far just this year alone. And by the time we're done, it'll be up in the thousands. And so what we did was one of my team members put something together where if you text the word freedom to 87948, you'll get one of those lectures sent to you every single morning. So if you like the Money in the Morning vibe and this is great for you, then if you text freedom to 87948, you will get one of those Money in the Morning lectures that maybe something I did in January or February that'll be sent to you, because these ideas are universal. And I'd like for you to also, if you just, so you can have it all for free, if you would just please share this with your family, share this with your loved ones, because I really believe deeply that economic intelligence is one of the keys to our freedom. It's not going to solve every problem, but having resources, having money makes a big difference in your life. It makes a big difference in the options that you have. So just text freedom to 87948 and we can send that to you. And also just a reminder, later on today, and I'm not going to keep talking for too long, but later on today, I am going to do a Q&A for those of you that are interested in stock options and learning how to buy and sell stock options to make money. It's really more so for beginners. So if you'd like to join that, then feel free to join our options class. It's drboyceprime.com, drboyceprime.com. Prime members, you can come in. You guys should have gotten a link in your text messages this morning. That's going to happen today at noon Eastern.